Hey, welcome back. So today what I have for you is a inspirational I went to Walmart, and I'm sure if y'all have a Walmart or go to Walmart at all, you've probably seen these around. And I got this. My son wanted the watermelon, and I thought to myself, maybe I could recreate that on a cup. So I took this as my inspiration, and we are going to make this. I'm going to tell you right now, honestly, when I first started it, I thought, this is going to be bad. This is going to be a big disaster, and I'm going to be painting over this. But I'm telling you, it's so cool. It looks really cool in person. It's very, very artistic. It's very lifelike, and that kind of thing that I just really fell in love. And my son's been dying to use it, but I had told him, I said, we have to wait for it to cure. So he did not understand that. But anyways, he is finally going to get to use it tomorrow, and I'm doing this video for y'all today in all my full glory. This is how I normally look when I am doing cups and stuff. So anyways, that's enough out of me. Let's get started. So we're starting off with a sanded and prepped 15-ounce duo from the Stainless Steel Depot, and I just painted it white. And this, I took all of the alcohol inks that I thought between the dark green to the darker red, and kind of laid them out on a piece of paper so that I could tell kind of how dark and deep I wanted to go with each color. So I just kind of had a map there. I just kind of mapped it out. So I knew that I wanted to go with this color, then this color, then that color. Also to kind of see how it will end up looking on this white cup as well. So just a little trick there. I got all of these alcohol inks at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. They come in the 3-pack, so you kind of get like 3 different colors at a time. So I have collected, if you will, a lot of alcohol inks in that way. But I think if you have a variety of different greens and reds, I think you will definitely be able to make it work with what you have. I will put the list down below of all of the colors that I used here, but I would encourage you that you don't necessarily have to go out and buy a whole bunch of colors unless you just don't have any alcohol ink. So the best advice I can give you with doing this, because this was absolutely a trial and error, this was a I'm gonna see what happens here kind of look, is just be real careful when you're picking up the alcohol ink. Make sure that they're not splattering into the other color, especially when you go from the green to the white and the red and that kind of thing. But I was also, which unfortunately you cannot see, and I'm just realizing this, I was also spritzing the alcohol. Oh no, you can kind of see it there. Yeah. So I was like spritzing it with alcohol. So as I was going through, and so it was creating kind of the blending and the cells and the different looks of, I thought would kind of mimic that rind of the watermelon. So I really liked the way it was coming out. But sometimes when you're doing that, the alcohol gets more runny and it won't dry to those cells. So you kind of have to kind of gauge whether or not you're gonna spray it further back or closer, and so you get different looks in different ways. So I would encourage you. This is so much fun. These are some of my favorite things when I'm doing my Galaxy cup or something like this, is playing with that alcohol ink. It really just kind of has a life of its own, and I just have so much fun with it. But anyways, I don't want to talk your ear off on this, and I did speed it up tremendously because this was 20 minutes just doing this alcohol. The whole filming of me doing this was 20 minutes. So that can give you an idea of that it took me 20 minutes to do this, which in Tumbler life is really not that much time. But anyways, I kind of sped this up. So I'm just going to play a little bit of music, and I will hop back in and talk about something if I see a moment when I need to tell you exactly what was happening, in that moment. So right here, what I was doing was I was putting that lighter kind of pinky red color, but I kept getting into that white. So I was taking the pearl and kind of adding it back in to that white part right down the side there, because it just kept, that's why I was saying be careful when you're pouring it on there. I finally started going at it at an angle, keeping the cup flat, and then putting the alcohol ink just right there on the kind of halfway mark so that it would go down, and it wasn't going sideways, and that it kind of eventually it made sense what I was doing, and it started kind of flowing at that point. So in the end, I just kind of started touching up any little parts that I felt needed it, and I sprayed it all down with a bunch of alcohol spritz just to kind of see what kind of look I could get at the end. And then eventually I just left it alone. Not yet, but I did eventually just leave it alone. Now I was touching up some of the white that kind of got a little bit too much color in there. All in all, but I think it looks really cool. I was really nervous at the beginning, like I said, and then it just kind of started coming together. It started flowing and making sense, and I knew once I put it under epoxy that it would make a big difference. Well, she doesn't look like much right there, but once you put the layers of epoxy on there, it's really gonna, I don't know, epoxy does something. I don't know what it is. So here I have one layer of epoxy because I just wanted to be able to put my paint pens and any kind of paint or whatever I decided to do for kind of outlining the lines of each color. I decided I would put one coat of epoxy because if I wanted to clean any of that up, if it was on an alcohol base, I couldn't use alcohol or anything to clean it off. So I just put one thin layer of epoxy on here. The green pen at first, I liked it. It was kind of like a shimmery kind of gold. This white pen was terrible. I'll put the link below, but the black and the gold that come in this pack are actually pretty nice. This white pen, not so much. I kept shaking it and kind of and poking it and stuff, like on a piece of paper too, and on the cup. But anytime I would try to rub over a place that I had already been on, it was just taking the paint away, and it wasn't coming out very thick, and I was just having a little bit of issues. So I did the whole thing with these two pens, but I actually went back behind this and used paint for both of these. So I actually used chalk paint for the white, and I used just a plain brighter green for the green. But here I was using this red metallic pen that I got in the same pack with that green pen that I used in the first one. I mean, that I used around the green part. This one actually really looked nice because it was a darker red and the shimmer was really nice on that. Now this Sharpie Extreme marker I actually learned about from Duncan Custom Airbrush. He uses this and it works really well like under epoxy and that kind of thing. So I just went ahead and decided I was going to freehand these seeds. So I just drew kind of a teardrop and filled it in. I really wasn't looking for uniformity. It didn't really matter. I kind of was brick setting them, but then it was the red kind of was flowing through the cup. So one side was kind of shorter and longer than the other as far as I hope that makes sense. But like the red kind of was dipping down and the green was a little bit. So anyways, it wasn't letting me do the brick set exactly perfectly. So they kind of started kind of going wherever they wanted. So, and I think this is going to definitely be something that you'll have to gauge when you're doing your own and where you want to put them. Because the alcohol ink has a mind of its own. So it's going to do what it wants. So this is where I decided that I was going to, I started off with this really thick brush, and then I decided that I needed a much thinner brush. But I went back over that white line with this white chalk paint, and it turned out so much better. It was just much more vibrant and, solid versus that pen in the beginning. That thing was not working for me at all for what I wanted it to look like. And so then after that, I took the green from the Pantheon paints from Christy Taylor, and I covered up that line of that green marker. It just really wasn't blending. The color of it was way too light and metallic for this look. So I just went back over and painted over wherever I put that line or that marker, I just painted over it with that green color. Then after this, I put 2 coats of epoxy before I was done, and I let that cure for at least about 3 days before I gave it to my son. And like I showed in the beginning, this was my inspiration. I kind of like mine a little bit better, but anyways, I had a lot of fun making this, and I hope that you guys are able to recreate this. I think it would be a super, super fun summer cup for kids or for adults, or this would be really super cute on one of those can coolers for the summertime. But anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.